Hello everyone. I've been asked to say something about the origins of the NWMI. I'd just like to say two things about how this unique network came about. First of all, the idea emerged from many of the women journalists across the country that I had interviewed in the late 1990s, who said it was time we had some kind of a forum for media women in India. At that time, there were a few local groups in various places, but nothing at the national level. So the network building process that began in November 2000 was undertaken in response to a felt need. Secondly, the entire process was a bottom-up one, with 3 regional meetings held in different parts of the country, Bangalore, Jaipur and Shillong, to figure out the if, what, why and how of creating a network. The women from several states working in different languages who came together during those initial meetings immediately and enthusiastically endorsed the idea of linking up. It was on the basis of that collective approval that the first national meeting of Indian women in media was held in Delhi in January 2002.
But a couple of days ago, the Bombay High
they will decide it by Monday or so who the judge is.
The seeds of NWMI was sown actually much before 2002. 2002 Delhi January was when the national network emerged. There was a meeting at the IIC, the India International Center. There were about 100 women journalists from all over India. It was a really exciting meeting because that was probably the first time there was such a diverse range of women journalists from across the country identifying as women journalists and meeting in Delhi with the objective of launching a national network. Before that, there had been regional meetings in the east, in Shillong, in Jaipur, in the south, and the national meeting was like a culmination of all of these meetings. So the groundwork, the roots, so to speak, had been laid mainly by Ammu, who, based on her research on women journalists, identified the need for such a network. And I think that was really the most brilliant part of it, the identifying the need. Because once that came out as a felt need and an objective, that was when everyone rallied around. And there's been no looking back really from 2002 onwards. We are now 22 years old, almost 800 women journalists. And Ammu was the one who had this vision of keeping it broad, not only women journalists, but women in the media.
Journalists like Ammu Joseph are not just an inspiration, but I think they also showed us a way forward. Now, we meet a lot of people in our lives, right? People who just continue to do their thing. They're bothered about their own small circles, their families. I mean, I'm not finding any fault with them. People can live on selfishly in their own small cocoons. But there are people like Ammu Joseph who decided that that's not enough. We have to have sisterhoods. We have to have solidarity. We have to come together. And no one really asked them to, no one forced them to, but they came by themselves voluntarily. And that, I believe, has given an opportunity for so many women to look at not just their journalism, but also to understand that one has to go beyond just being a journalist doing their own stories. It's also about standing for the community. It's about adding strength to the community.
Like talking about Ammu, I mean, she has been a mentor. She has always been there. She is a constant support, discussing various things. Like whenever we have to discuss something with her, whenever we have something, we are thinking to do something, she will always be like holding our hands and, moving us forward, telling us what to do, what not to do, so we go and we discuss things with her.
See, a lot of people see networking or network as something where you have to really go and be a part of it to make things happen. But you learned what it means to take somebody's view and actually include that. And that I now realize on hindsight is what Ammu is all about. It is her very nature to make sure that everybody's view or perspectives are included. And that has somehow got reflected in the character of what NWMI has become over the years.
എൻ്റെ അസോസിയേഷൻ വിത്ത് അമ്മു ACJ മുതലുണ്ട്. ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് ക്ലാസ് എടുക്കാൻ വന്നിട്ടുണ്ടായിരുന്നു. പിന്നീട് അമ്മുവാണ് എന്നെ NWMI മെമ്പറാക്കി ചേർത്തത്. സാധാരണ ഇങ്ങനെ ഒരു അസോസിയേഷനിൽ ഹൈറാക്കി ഉണ്ടാവുമല്ലോ. യു വിൽ ഹാവ് എ പ്രസിഡന്റ്, യു ഹാവ് എ സെക്രട്ടറി, പിന്നെ ഇങ്ങനെ താഴോട്ട്. ഇവിടെ അങ്ങനെയല്ല. ദർ ഇസ് നോ ഹൈറാക്കി. ഇവിടെ ഓഫീസ് ഇല്ല. ഇറ്റ്സ് ലൈക്ക് എ ഫ്ലോട്ടിംഗ് ഓർഗനൈസേഷൻ ആൻഡ് ദർ ഇസ് ആബ്സല്യൂട്ട് ഫ്രീഡം ഫോർ എവറിബഡി. സോ that's her ethos and she's actually put that into practice.
Network of Women in Media India എന്നാണ് അതിൻ്റെ പേര്. It's a timely organization which came out of itself, probably to salvage the spirit of journalism. A network of, ഞങ്ങളതിനെ സിസ്റ്റർഹുഡ് എന്നാണ് വിളിക്കുന്നത്. സിസ്റ്റർഹുഡ് എന്നുള്ള അർത്ഥത്തിൽ, അതായത് സാധാരണഗതിയിൽ ഒരു ജേർണലിസ്റ്റിൻ്റെ ഒരു നെറ്റ്വർക്ക് സാധാരണഗതിയിൽ അത് കൂടുതൽ ഗവൺമെൻറ്റിൽ നിന്നുള്ള ഓർഗനൈസേഷൻ ഓരോ ആനുകൂല്യങ്ങൾ പിടിച്ചെടുക്കാനുള്ളതോ ആയിട്ടോ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഒരു ട്രേഡ് യൂണിയൻ സ്വഭാവമായിട്ടോ പരിണമിക്കുമ്പോൾ ഈ സംഘടന മാത്രം, അതിൽ സിസ്റ്റർഹുഡ് ആണ് അതിൽ എംഫസിസ് വരുന്നത്. എന്താവശ്യം വന്നാലും പരസ്പരം സഹായിക്കാനുള്ളൊരു സംഘടന എന്നുള്ളതിനും അപ്പുറം ഇറ്റ്സ് intended as a professional organization, for the professional mentoring of each other.
Even though it is a formless sort of an organization, it is organic in the sense that I think it is built on the love and confidence of the women on each other and their passion for their work, that is journalism. Personally, this organization has been like a sisterhood to me because when I was ill with cancer, and they all came out to support me, both financially. Also, all of them, they contributed to my medical treatment, without even asking. They said, okay, people need, especially journalists, so they all helped me. So that's a personal thing that they have done. And professionally, like I said, it's a place where we can discuss all the issues that is facing, and especially now the issues that we are facing in this country, where journalism itself is about to be wiped out. This is where we come together, and this is where we draw sustenance from each other about what is the role of journalists to safeguard our country and our democracy. And this is how we gain sustenance from each other, because all of us know that what is the right thing to do. And we encourage each other and be the support for each other. So I should say it's one of the most important journalist associations that we have, not only in the country, in the world.
2 decades of watching this baby grow into this confident, pan-India network, and many times a journalist network is sometimes can get to be an elite club, but not so in our case. Navodayam in Chittoor, Jayanti Buruda in Malkangiri, Augustina in Jharkhand. Many of us have had the pleasure of interacting with sister journalists and media women from across not just the cities but also remote towns. And that has truly been NWMI's strength.
Pastapur in Andhra Pradesh. A small group of non-literate women have chosen video for self-expression and for expressing the concerns of others like themselves.
I remember thinking, who are these women? And it turned out that they were journalists. They didn't exactly go to J school. Some of them haven't even completed their schooling or probably even stepped into one. But they were so spunky. They all came together to do some remarkable path-altering work in Chittoor. Things like reporting on child marriage, against caste discrimination. They would travel to villages. They would actually be invited to those same homes that had kept them away because they were Dalits. So this was the Navodayam women. And when they started coming to the NWMI meetings, many of the people would actually look forward to that.
I think it is important to note that Gauri's sudden and untimely death raises to 41 the number of journalists known to have been killed for confirmed work-related reasons over the past 25 years in India, which is known as the world's largest and most populous democracy. There is a plan to, sort of eliminate dissenting voices, either by pushing them out of the media or silencing them through fear or actually killing them.
It's going to cost us this false democracy. They'll try and crush us. They cannot hush us. Your words, your legacy. Too many of us. Close your eyes, close your eyes, close your eyes, close your eyes before they see what we see. Gauri, you were born free.
NWMI as an organization has never shied away from saying what is the reality. It does not matter who they end up angering, whether it's a state government, whether it's a union government, whatever it is, when it has come to standing with women journalists, they've always done that, despite the risk that you get branded as anti-national and so many other different things. So that way, this is an organization which all of us can fall back on, not just for getting support on personal issues or on legal issues, but also on the larger problems that the media and the country itself is facing. We have members in NWMI who face cases under UAPA, defamation, and even many other criminal laws. And it's not an easy battle for most of these women. So people are trying to fight these cases. People have been fighting cases for 10 years, 15 years. And organizations may not stand with you, people around you will move on. So, who will stand with you? That's where I personally feel that NWMI has always stepped in. I mean, there are several times when we have simply accompanied a colleague of ours from NWMI to a court, or we have gone with them to meet a lawyer right behind you in the courtroom. We are there for whatever support that we can muster. And I make a point that wherever I go, and if I see two other MWMIers, we have to immediately click a picture just to show that, hey, we are here too.
Ammu spent her childhood on the premises of UC College, Alway, where she lived with her parents and the two older sisters. We take Ammu back to her childhood, where she spent those happy days on the rolling, vast premises of UC College.
I've been very lucky, I think, in my life in many ways. Starting with my childhood, I was very fortunate to be, first of all, born into a very exceptional family, I would say. Very progressive and very loving. We had a really happy childhood. And it helped that we were all in the UC College campus, which was also like one large family. There were many families there living in their separate houses, but it was like one big family.
നിങ്ങളുടെ വീട്ടിലെ 3 പെൺപിള്ളേര്, തോമസ് സാറിന് 3 പെൺപിള്ളേര്,
ഇവിടെയും ഇവരും
ഇവിടെയും 2 പെൺപിള്ളേര്. പക്ഷെ അവര് നിങ്ങളെക്കാളിലൊക്കെ മച്ച് യങ്ങറാണ്.
No, Ammu and I were friends. Maybe she was a little younger. ഞാൻ ഇവിടെ കളിക്കാൻ വരുന്ന ഓർക്കുന്നുണ്ട്.
അതെ അതെ.
Staff quarters. Yeah, this must be the house. My God, looks so different. In fact, ഇവിടെ ഇരുന്ന് ഫാമിലി ഫോട്ടോ എടുക്കുന്ന ഞങ്ങൾക്കൊരു ഫാമിലി ഫോട്ടോ ഉണ്ട്. ഇവിടെ മാവും ഒക്കെ ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു.
എൻ്റെ അങ്കിൾസ് 2 പേരും ഇവിടെ പഠിപ്പിച്ചതാണ്. അപ്പോൾ അവരിവരെല്ലാം ഇവിടുത്തെ ഫാക്കൽറ്റി ആണല്ലോ. അപ്പോൾ ഞാൻ എൻ്റെ നാട്ടിൽ നിന്ന് തിരുവല്ലയിൽ നിന്ന് ഇവിടെ വരും സമ്മർ വെക്കേഷൻ സ്പെൻഡ് ചെയ്യാനായിട്ട്. അമ്മുവിൻ്റെ അമ്മ അച്ഛൻ ഫാദറിനോടൊപ്പം തന്നെ വിദ്യാഭ്യാസ യോഗ്യതയുള്ള ഒരാളായിരുന്നു. പക്ഷേ ഈ കോളേജിൽ പഠിപ്പിക്കുമ്പോൾ അവർ തീരുമാനം ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു, ഒന്നുകിൽ ഹസ്ബൻഡ് വൈഫ്, അല്ലാതെ പ്രത്യേകിച്ച് സ്ത്രീകൾക്ക് അന്നിവിടെ അധ്യാപകരായിട്ടില്ല. പക്ഷേ അതേ സമയത്ത് തന്നെ അവർ എല്ലാവരും കൂടെ താല്പര്യമെടുത്താണ് ക്രൈസ്തവ മഹിളാലയം ഉണ്ടായത്. ക്രൈസ്തവ മഹിളാലയത്തിൽ പോയി ബേബി കൊച്ചമ്മ started teaching there.
So I did my pre-primary nursery school and pre-primary there, and also first standard in the, I think, the government lower primary school, which was very close to the campus. Towards the end of my 6th year, my father was invited by Emperor Haile Selassie of Ethiopia to move to Addis Ababa, the capital city of Ethiopia, and help set up a theological college for the university there. anyway, after 7 years in Ethiopia, I was in high school at that time. I think I was 13. I was 7 when I reached there, and 13 or 14 when I left. So my father was again invited to move to Geneva, Switzerland, to become the Secretary for Education at the World Council of Churches headquartered in Geneva. And I went to the International School of Geneva, which had students from all over the world. I hadn't actually, spent any long periods in India since I was 6, and I felt at 16 that if I didn't go back to India at that time for college, I would probably not, never go back. So I chose to return to India for college, and I chose to go to the college where my eldest sister had gone, Women's Christian College in Madras. I did pre-university as well as the 3-year degree course in English literature in WCC Madras.
After her graduation in literature from Women's Christian College in Chennai, Ammu chose to become a journalist. Not a common or an easy choice in those days in the 70s. We now ask Ammu what motivated her to become a journalist and also pursue her studies in journalism and communication. And she also taught for some time in Sophia College. On to Ammu now to find out what is it that made her become a journalist.
I don't know if I, set out to be a journalist as such, but I enjoyed writing, and I found I enjoyed editing as well.
Okay.
I think my first experience of that was in college in
Women's Christian College in Madras.
Yes. And, we had a college magazine and things like that. And so I used to write for that. And we had a campus leaf, a kind of cyclo-style newsletter and things like that. So I got involved in all that. And, I had a gift for the language, which I think I inherited from my mother. My final year in WCC, I was the editor of Sunflower, which is the college magazine. And so I thought I liked this, and I wasn't very happy with the course, the BA course in Madras University at that time. So I decided I was not going to do a master's, but I looked for a course I could do in communications. And that's when I went to Bombay, to the Sophia College Polytechnic. And so I did that for a year. And as part of that, there was an internship period, a month internship that was required. So it happened that I got the internship in Eve's Weekly, which was one of the 2 well-known commercial women's magazines in the country at that time. And then they offered me a job. For 6 months, I joined as sub-editor and reporter, Eve's Weekly and Star and Style. I think the recognizable names, a lot of them may be recognizable, but Sharmila Tagore, Shami Kapoor, as you said, and Shabana Azmi.
Rajesh Khanna.
Rajesh Khanna was the one person who didn't actually speak English very well. And my experience in those 6 months was that actually they're extremely kind and courteous, and certainly no hanky-panky or anything like that.
So after 6 months were over, you went to your Syracuse University,
I went to
right?
Syracuse University for a degree in journalism, and it was the S.I. Newhouse School of Public Communications, and they had everything TV and this and that. But I chose to do magazine journalism. It was a very useful course, and the other interesting thing about that period in Syracuse was that there were 2 things I'll talk about. One is that as part of the course, we had to also take courses in other schools. And then for the sociology department, I did a course called sex role socialization or sex roles or something like that. And that was actually early stirrings of, I mean, at that time it wasn't called gender, but I think that whole thing of how people are sort of programmed into becoming male or female and what that means and all that, that was something that course opened my eyes to. And then in one of the courses, we had to do a paper on any publication, any existing publication. And so then that was the time when Ms. Magazine had just been started, I think it started in 74 or 75.
Yes, it was all during that period of time.
So I said I'd like to do a thing, and then I had to obviously they had to say okay for me to spend a week in their office in New York, and of course met Gloria Steinem and all the other senior editors, and literally stayed there for a week, interviewing some of them and getting to know what the idea was behind Ms. Magazine. And then, of course, anyway, I worked for a few months in New York for that work experience period. And then I decided to come back to India. So I came back, and then Mrs. Ewing sweetly offered me the job of assistant editor. So she, I think, wanted somebody who would just step in and do a lot of the Eve's Weekly work for her.
Okay.
So that's how I became the assistant editor, and also, it happened that there were two other staff who were already there when I joined, Jyoti Punwani and a person called Ratu Kamlani.
I was already at Eve's Weekly when Ammu joined in 1977 as deputy editor. And at first, she seemed very stern and a very different kind of person. We at Eve's were very casual and friendly. But soon I realized that was just an exterior. She was a very warm and funny person to work with also. And the best thing about what Ammu did was at Eve's Weekly, she changed the whole magazine into a feminist magazine without, ruffling too many feathers. Like, she worked with the editor, convinced her that even the most, what we found, reactionary sections of the magazine could be looked at in a different way and could be seen from a feminist perspective. So even the cooking pages became, like cooking for working women or quick recipes for mothers. So that it wasn't the old Eve's Weekly any longer after Ammu finished with it. It was really exciting time for us to do all this, because there was pushback also at some level, and at the same time Ammu kept diplomatically pushing her view forward. So Ammu had this ability to get the best writers, but she also had the habit of giving them very long briefs. So we used to laugh at it because she would write down practically the entire article and tell them what to do, and then they had to go and get the... Yeah, it was like very meticulous. But we found that with all this, she was a very fun-loving and humorous person.
So Ammu, so you decided to quit when Ria was born, right?
Yes.
And you started teaching in Sophia College, the same place where you studied.
And it was very relatively close to where we were living at that time. So I could literally walk there.
And why did you stop teaching, Ammu? But
I didn't stop teaching. I didn't stop teaching. I've gone back to teaching
no, but
subsequently.
Sophia, you took up another assignment.
Journalism job. Yeah, definitely, once a journalist, you sort
always a journalist.
So then I joined, when Ria was 3, I went back to work and joined Update magazine, which was a business magazine, another highly unlikely space for me to join.
This is reporting, is it?
No, I was hired as assistant editor for my editing skills. Then I joined another new publication called Suburbia. And I also, at that time, I went back to teaching at Sophia. And then my last job in Bombay was the Indian Post. Mr. S. Nihal Singh was the editor-in-chief. I was in awe of him from just having heard about him and his role during the emergency and everything.
He was a political editor too.
Yeah.
You were still in Bombay, so when you started working on your first book, is it?
No, so we had this idea while I was in Bombay. Then I went to Cambridge. And then I came back and moved to Bangalore.
Why did you decide to move to Bangalore? You didn't want to remain in Bombay. It was not- you
Yeah,
didn't
so
like-
I had decided to kind of opt out and do independent journalism. And I also was not happy with conventional schools, so I wanted the main reason
How
actually
old
why
was
we
she? How old?
she was 7.
Okay.
So the main reason I moved to Bangalore was to put her in Valley School.
Rishi Valley School.
Not Rishi Valley, the Valley,
Valley
School in
School.
Bangalore.
Okay.
And so she went to, that was the main reason, but also quality of life. I thought, all this commuting and stuff, and so we'll move here.
That's how you moved to Bangalore.
A long time ago, our children were studying in the same school, same class for that matter, in the Valley School. And being single parents, we used to meet more often there. To all our birthday parties and things like that, she used to come. I used to go taking my son, and she used to bring her daughter. We had come common friends in Saraswati Karnad and Girish Karnad, whom I knew very well from Chennai days, Cholamandal Artist Village days. But I didn't know that she knew them also. So we used to meet at their place for dinners, and that's where I think we met properly. Don't you think so?
Yeah. I always say it was a PTA romance.
Whatever it is, I think it happened for good, and I'm very happy about it. And it so happened that this place we are now sitting, I had brought Ammu to this place once before we had built this house. And then I showed the place and she said it's a beautiful place. Only thing is you should build something so that you can come.
He inherited it from his family. It's family property.
It's a family gift to me.
And I think he used to come here like some punishment posting kind of thing. Once a week you'd come here and spend a little time and leave.
Yeah. I've lived amongst the strong women in my life. My mother was a very strong woman. My late wife, Arnavas, painter, very strong lady. And Ammu is another one. And Ammu, she somehow or the other, introduced me to a lot of her friends who were activists. So it made a lot of difference to my life. Activism came into my life, though I was open to that activism from the beginning. But really speaking, it came to my life much more strongly later. And I appreciate, though I don't read many things what she writes, I don't understand many things what
Keep
she
asking
writes.
at breakfast, have you read it? Have you read it?
So, but she also, at the same time, she also says that I'm not going to write about art. No, in a way, it's a good thing. I think we work under the same roof, but she works in a very different way. I work in a very different way. So that is a very important thing, I think, in life.
Duna's PYP4 class was paired up with MYP4. Yeah.
Okay.
And my PYP1 class was paired up with MYP1.
Ah.
And my partner's name was Vigo.
Oh.
And he was very funny.
And where's he from?
Somewhere in southern Africa.
Oh, he's actually South Africa or Southern Africa?
Must be South Africa. Yeah. But did you know somewhere in southern Africa, they do.
Oh, you're wearing your India flag.
Yeah, so we had to go. We
You,
were grouped with other
Drona,
teams.
both of you just hold it up once more. 'Cause they didn't get
Yeah.
Yeah. So did you order the dress, by the way?
That's another thing. I'm feeling very put upon in general, but I was trying to talk to them about the dress that I'd actually been able to try again
Yeah,
and
yeah.
wanting and that
And acting for the past 2 days. Also
all day.
yesterday, and I changed clothes 3 times yesterday and twice today.
Oh wow.
You can imagine how happy that makes
How,
me.
I know.
Today we went to the press club with network friends, and so it's now somebody was saying, one of the crew was saying that now you've become an actress, walking this way, walking that way. I understand the main concern to be addressed today relates to language and the need for the media to use language that is egalitarian and inclusive, avoiding discriminatory, derogatory, disparaging, demeaning, and abusive terms. I'm sure many of you are aware about the furor over the headline used by the BBC for its report on the sudden and somewhat shocking resignation of the former Prime Minister of New Zealand, Jacinda Ardern, which made headlines across the globe.
After going on 6 years of some big challenges, I am human. Politicians are human. We give all that we can for as long as we can, and then it's time. And for me, it's time.
BBC's report carried the headline, Jacinda Ardern resigns. Can women really have it all? There was major outrage over the headline's implication that she resigned because, as a woman, she could not cope with the pressure of being in a leadership position. The BBC responded by quickly changing the headline to Jacinda Ardern resigns, departure reveals unique pressures on PM. That was much better, wasn't it?
The way Indian media covers topics around gender, women, children sometimes irks me. And the most what is disturbing is the language which the media employs when it comes to talking about sexual violence. NWMI and especially people like Ammu Joseph have worked for many years to make the media understand that this kind of language is just not okay. I mean, if you're going to use, for example, the word jilted lover for a man who's actually stalking a woman and then murdering her, you are giving a signal that perhaps the crime that he committed was because he was jilted. After all, most of the media editors are men who are from upper caste families. So it does take a lot of effort to drill into them that this language is not okay, this language has to be changed. And I'm personally very thankful to people and editors like Ammu Joseph who have stood right in front in this battle to convince other media houses that language has to be changed.
ആദ്യകാലങ്ങളിൽ അവരൊട്ടും സീരിയസ് ആയിട്ട് എടുത്തിരുന്നില്ല. പക്ഷേ അത് പതുക്കെ പതുക്കെ മാറാൻ തുടങ്ങി. KUWJ സീരിയസ് ആയിട്ട് എടുത്തു തുടങ്ങി, പ്രസ് ക്ലബ്ബ് സീരിയസ് ആയിട്ട് എടുത്തു തുടങ്ങി. പിന്നെ നമ്മൾ പ്രസ് ക്ലബ്ബിൽ ഇടയ്ക്കിടയ്ക്ക് കൂടാൻ തുടങ്ങി പല ഇഷ്യൂസിൽ. നമ്മൾ പലതവണ കൂടി. പിന്നീട് സൂര്യനെല്ലിയുടെ കേസ് വന്നപ്പോൾ അതിൻ്റെ റിപ്പോർട്ടിങ്ങിനെതിരായിട്ട് കണ്ടന്റിൽ ഉണ്ടാക്കേണ്ട മാറ്റത്തെക്കുറിച്ച് സൂര്യനെല്ലിയുടെയൊക്കെ റിപ്പോർട്ടിംഗ് സമയത്ത് ആക്ച്വലി വളരെ മോശമായിരുന്നു. റിപ്പോർട്ടിങ്ങിൻ്റെ ലാംഗ്വേജും സ്റ്റൈലും, 40 നരാധമന്മാർ, 40 ദിനരാത്രങ്ങൾ, ഇങ്ങനെയൊക്കെയാണ് വളരെ മെയിൻ സ്ട്രീം പത്രങ്ങളുടെ പോലും തലക്കെട്ടുകൾ.
as a student of journalism in the 90s, in the early 90s, the Ammu's book, Whose News, was a real eye-opener for us. It was our professor, Dr. Keval Kumar, who was working in Pune University as professor of communication, who insisted that all of us who were very keen on gender rights and women's issues must read this book that had just come out then. Let me just read a little paragraph from the book that really made an impression on the way news about women were written about in the media in those days. Media attention was drawn to dowry deaths in 1978-79 when there were reports of an increasing number of deaths of young brides in kitchen accidents. There was one particular gory accident, that was of Kanjan Shashibala. So the book goes on to say her mother Satyarani tracked down women's groups after reading about the demonstration in the press. These incidents marked the beginning of a change in media coverage of this issue, which till then had consisted of small items routinely reporting these deaths on the city page. And
I think you were reading from that you're holding the new edition, but that particular section that you read is from the original
yes,
version.
this is the book I have with me, Ammu.
Yeah. The second edition, we have updated every single chapter. First of all, I must say that it's a book written by both me and Kalpana Sharma. Reviewers were saying it's a very novel methodology. We didn't even know it was a methodology. We just instinctively, from our knowledge of how media works, we just came up with this way of looking at coverage of women's issues in the media.
But when you began writing the book, Ammu, were there any topics that you decided you wanted to cover? Was it just a happy serendipity that you...
No. It was very well chosen, where we thought to ourselves, what are, in this 10-year period that we are covering, what are the various issues that the media really took up in some ways. So one was this dowry deaths in the late 70s. Then another was rape, partly because the women's movement was born, the contemporary women's movement was sort of born with the Mathura rape case, protests against that. And then there was what we call sex selection now, and in those days used to be called female feticide. So that was one. And then there was the big Sati incidents with Roop Kanwar. And then the final one was Shabanu. So these were 5 issues that were covered in the media. We thought, let's see how they covered it and what's good, bad. And
the language, the content, the place it was done, the picture,
whether
the headline.
Whether there were editorials or not, whether, you know, all those kinds of things. So because all those things indicate how seriously the decision makers, because the reporters might be reporting, but the decision makers in the media, you know, the fact that they take it seriously comes out when there's an editorial page, article, you know, all that.
So when you look back after 30 years, do you find there has been a solid change in the way women themselves view the news, the newsmakers, and the language, the content, the way the importance is given? What is your take on that?
I think now you can see that there's you know, there are many reporters, both mainly women, but also many men who have a perspective on these issues and know, first of all, correct language. I think we are much more conscious of, you know, what is politically correct and what is not and things like that.
Ammu, her book, you know, the Whose News, co-authored with Kalpana Sharma, it has helped me a lot while analyzing media content. I have used it as a reference tool while analyzing media content, even in the Kannada media, and I have made use of the perspective which has been developed in that book while giving the talks in different forums also with related to media issues.
Ammu Joseph was my professor at college, at the Asian College of Journalism. She taught me, she took one module on gender and media studies. It was a very short course, but I think what really struck me was the way she brought up issues, not just current affairs, but also the impact of gender in the news and the media over the longer course of time. So everything she taught us was had immediate impact, as well as it was something that would give you a greater perspective into how the media worked, how women were viewed in the media, how journalists also viewed the media.
NWMI's Gender, Media and Elections blog, which was launched just ahead of the general elections of 2014. The original idea was to have a space where media coverage of elections could be examined through a gender lens. We thought it was important for a group like ours to keep a watch on how women and other genders are represented or not and portrayed in election-related news as voters, candidates, party members and leaders, election officials, etc.
NWMയുടെ ജെൻഡർ മീഡിയ ആൻഡ് എലക്ഷൻസ് ബ്ലോഗിൻ്റെ തുടക്കം ശരിക്കും അമു ജോസഫിൻ്റെ ബ്ലോഗിൽ നിന്നാണ്. So she started this and it's been 10 years now. And I think 2 or 3 years ago, we shifted it from her personal blog to the website. So 10 years ആയി. അപ്പോൾ 2014 general election തൊട്ട് ഈ 2024 വരെ ഇപ്പോൾ 10 years ആയി. So this elections we've had stories before the results and post results also, analyzing how it has been covered and what are the issues. So that way I think it's an important initiative, and that it's been 10 years in the running is truly because of Ammu Joseph alone and her efforts.
People assume that a women's network will be only talking about gender issues, but it's not only gender issues, it's also freedom of expression and censorship and all kinds of issues that affect media and media people. January 2024, it'll be 22 years. Really amazing and constantly growing.